Hello, and welcome to the second hour of Mindshifters Radio. Today is Wednesday, November the 5th, 2025, and my apologies, I was a couple minutes late starting the recording.
Right.
When I went to speak that evening, I had the clearest, most connected mind I have ever had in my life, or at least had ever had up to that point in terms of getting up and speaking. I was like, wow, a shocking and noticeable difference. And when I shared with you a couple of weeks ago that when I found that uplink in the corpus callosum area of the brain, that's when I realized what his center balancing had done and give me a way to plug in. And so I'm delighted that Patrick's going to come in. It's going to shift. We're going to shift the focus somewhat of the intuitive development intensive, and of course there'll be a stronger focus than was originally intended on the StillPoint breathing process. You know, we had originally planned to do 2 sessions. We may even do 3. We'll see how it unfolds. 3 of the participants that are coming ahead of time to do quantum StillPoint. So we're going to be rocking in the quantum world as well. So plan to extend some of that training to everybody that'll be in the intensive. But then Patrick is going to come for the first 2 days and do some center point balancing with us to bring that whole thing into alignment. So I'm excited. As I say, just this morning as I was doing my StillPoint work, it's like, yes, got it. We need to be focused on the animating force, not the physiology, not the body. And then this morning it was, yes, the animating force, physiology, or the breath, the still point, that's the animator, and the alignment to be able to receive properly the energies that we need to receive. So I'm excited about that. And how's everybody else doing? Anybody got a report? Anything to share? What's happening in your world? Anything you need support with? Any exciting openings that you want to share? What's happening? Don't everybody put your hand up at once, though. Wait, please. Come on, somebody's got something to put in the space. Nobody's got a report. Nobody's got a word to say.
I'm going to put a word in there. Divine
Go for it.
love. I'm just putting a word in if I get to put words in.
That's 2 words.
Divine, okay, 2 words, divine love. Here we are, getting to be showing up in this beautiful space, all of us doing our healing. And amazing because for everybody that's on the call. So of course I'm going to the intensive with Michael. I'm very excited about, and I'm one of the people doing the quantum still point, and then got to do an updated personal code evaluation. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 4th one. So there's been movement. So this process works. I will say that I'm very excited to look at what's next that I get to work on as I peel away all that is not God.
Well, I haven't looked at your earlier personal code evaluations to compare where you're at, but that one that we spoke about this morning, and usually when somebody does an intensive and post intensive, the scores kind of taper off a little bit, but to jump 17 points to 100% on that hostility score, that's just on your own, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Acknowledging your willingness and your work. It's fabulous.
Yeah. I feel really excited about that night, and that you mentioned that this morning. And then I was reflecting after our call just around how I notice with others that, the hostility, even if it does show up, I get to put it in its proper perspective of truth. And then even if there's a niggling of it, it subsides. So, that feels really good, and obviously a testament to the work. So thank you. Just wanted to share that.
Very cool.
Yes.
Thank you for doing your work. And the other thing that was shown to me this morning, it just took my understanding a shade higher, is that as each of us, when Yeshua talked about the idea of critical mass, a little leavening leavens the whole loaf,
Mm-hmm.
is that as each of us comes into alignment, as each of us literally incarnates in physiology, as the breath, as the live intelligence of the breath shows up in physiology, it contributes to this energy field that opens a space for it to be easier and easier for the next person, and then easier for still the next and the next. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and even the testament to your beginning 50 years ago of what you brought in, and now even what people were saying since we went and began the facilitation of the codependence, how people are having big breakthroughs, right? Even deeper breakthroughs to what they've had before. That's a testament to the consciousness and humanity being ready.
And by the time I go back to the early days of doing this work, and I'm talking, being on the road 50, 52, 53 years ago. And most places I went, people looked at me like, "You're a little wacko, mister. What are you talking about? I'm involved in my life. I'm responsible for what's happening. What? Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
And we had talked about, I shared the article that I'm working on. I went in to do some editing on it, and the I've got an article, and you've maybe read it before on my Facebook page. I post it 2 or 3 or 4 times a year, especially around holiday time, and I've been doing some editing on it, and it's it's titled, "This outer space character shocked at humans," and he's this character from outer space. He's from the Palladians. Says the other shock to me was that this, and he's talking about the information, how destructive alcohol is. This information is commonly known, yet so many people block it out and drink. On doing some psychological research, I discovered that this species has an almost unlimited pathological ability to block the truth from their minds.
Mm-hmm.
This deformity of the mind was so deep, the experts said that through their blocking mechanism, blame, they were able to damage and destroy themselves, their finances, their families, their relationships, and maintain the belief that others were responsible for their repeated behaviors and experiences. One author, a man named Dr. Michael Ryce, actually wrote a book about it. I'm putting in the article kind of tongue in cheek, but this the power of holding the thought that somebody else is responsible for what's happening inside of me is so monumentally powerful in the human mind, where most people live. And of course, part of the objective of our intensive coming up in less than 2 weeks now is to free yourself from living in your perceptual mind, literally, to get rid of memory, to get rid of perception, and to live in relationship to a whole different mind, as the ancients referred to it as the mind of Christ, and to get free of, literally free of, totally, completely free of perception.
Yeah.
So that's one of the places we're going. That's one of the objectives. Inviting everybody to be willing to go along, and this ride gets more interesting. More for me. For me, my experience is more physiologically enlivening every day.
I swear I'm getting younger. My physiology is getting younger.
Yeah.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
People comment on it. If you look at my pictures from 5 or 10 years ago, I don't even look, my body's completely different. My physiology.
But I don't know whether you've been on a show where I've talked about, or you probably heard it in the Codependence Intensive. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it there, but way back 40 years ago, I went to a medical conference, and there was a presenter from a place called the DeCrissi Clinic in Cincinnati, and they had been recently done some research on aging. And I heard it once from the podium, this quote spoken, and it was mind-boggling, and it was burned into my brain, and that, I still have it there totally and completely from 40 years ago. Here's what they said. These are medical doctors researching aging, and their conclusion was time is not toxic. Time has no effect on human tissues under any conditions. It is a belief in the effect of time by those who subscribe to such a belief that acts as a poison. So what if we get rid of the poison? What happens? Youthing instead of aging. How cool is that? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody's invited. Susan B., make sure please put this on your calendar. December 31st, 4949, Heartland, be there or be square.
I'm there.
Now you laughed when I said that, Susan Bingham. Why are you laughing?
Shut up, Michael Ryce. We've been around this one before. I'm gonna need a new body before I get there.
Well, here's how you get one. You face and forgive everything in your tissue structure that makes you think you've even got a body. And then you realize Einstein was right. On such things as matter, we have been all wrong. What we have heretofore called matter is energy, energy whose vibration had been lowered so as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. You're going to realize you don't have a body. And when you realize that, and you choose to undo all blockage of truth and face everything that's in there, the thing reverses its so-called aging process. Because time is not toxic.
Well, good luck on that, Michael.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm rocking with it. I've been around the earth a few times, around the sun, and I'm at about probably the healthiest place I've ever been in my life. Had a lot of, I was almost dead 3 or 4 times first year of my life. Used to live on an inhalator and pills. In the first 2 weeks in school, I was a time when the lung issues would strike, and I'd be in an oxygen tent in the hospital. I was never in school first 2 weeks. And I just, a couple of weeks ago went through another level of lung cleanse, still going through a little bit of it, and just coming up to a new level. So
Donald has a good question. Don't you think that gravity has a definite effect on the human body? He put that in the chat. I'm just acting like a host.
So do I think gravity is a problem?
Has a definite effect.
Oh, yeah. But in the context of the idea that this place is designed to be the Garden of Eden, its effects have to be uplifting and constructive. Without gravity, we'd be floating off in space somewhere. That would be pretty messy. So, yeah, I believe there is an effect. Do I believe there's a deleterious effect from gravity? No. However, if we've loaded the system up and are fighting gravity, sure. But I think it's part of what keeps us strong, part of what allows us to move the way we move. So I'd put it on the positive side of the game. So Don, tell us your thoughts on gravity. No thoughts on gravity?
I'm driving, and I don't. My connection might go out, but
yeah. Let's not interrupt your driving.
I mean, I suppose it's all your attitude and belief systems to an extent, but that's one force that we as humans cannot escape. And there is, every scientist pretty much knows this, that gravity over time has a deleterious effect on the human structure.
Of course, every scientist knows that time has a deleterious effect on human structure too.
Well, not
So
all of
everything
them.
that scientists know isn't necessarily true.
Well, not all of them, because the ones that you heard speak from the podium at that conference didn't believe that time did. But I can bet you that all those people are dead now.
I
I
think
don't
they did before the research.
right. So I don't disagree with you. I mean, intention is powerful. But Susan is skeptical, and I'm not. I personally, I will not want to live in my body in this lifetime forever. I think there's better
Why not?
lifetimes, because I think there's a better lifetime ahead of me, and I certainly believe in reincarnation. To me, that the proof of that is incontrovertible. And so why would I want to stay in this one body in this one lifetime and have these one set of experiences when I have so much more open to me that apparently has the potential to raise me even to a higher consciousness level or a higher dimension? So, but who knows? None of us really know for sure.
Who says I can't do all those things in this form
Nobody.
and bring it along with me?
Nobody. I
Yeah.
mean, none of us really know for sure. We'll all find out eventually,
True.
I guess. So
True.
that's
Yep.
fine. I'm not.
Anyway.
I'm with you. If we can do it, it may be good. It doesn't seem likely to me, and it doesn't seem like something I want to hold on to this body for, because the body to me it's really like an illusion. It's just a suit. It's an earth suit, as some people have put it.
Of course, just 25 years ago, nobody believed that you could be driving in a car somewhere probably near Atlanta, and that I could be on an internet connection, and we could be talking to each other while you're driving down. Just 25 years ago, nobody on the planet believed that was possible.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
So
I'm actually outside Asheville, but that's okay.
oh, well, you're not too far away. Well, come on up and share a meal with us. We're only about an hour and a half.
I know. I wish I had time. I have to get back for a meeting tonight, but I was helping some friends at a chiropractic neurologist's office with the appointment yesterday. So anyway, next time.
All right. Well, travel safely.
Thank you.
All right. Well, anyone else have a thought to share with us? Nobody has anything to report. Not a question, not a thought.
Linda,
well, then let's
unmuted.
Oh, go ahead. Go for it, young lady.
Hello, it's me. I always have a thought.
Welcome.
Have you noticed?
I have. Go for it.
Well, I have been exploring parallel universes, and this is so rather than serial other lives. I think maybe they're doors. I might have mentioned this to you before. Maybe they're simply doors in this timeless dimension, and that it's just a matter of us opening different doors as soul, because we're in timelessness anyway, and then having these other lives. And so that's a possibility. As for whether I can live eternally or this is the bodysuit and I'll die, I just leave that to the universe. I'm not going to have a hardcore decision either way. I think I'll keep my options open. Right. And I know how I can argue for my position, because I get into my belief systems, I get into my stuff, and I think I'd like to learn and practice and learn better to give up my belief systems and just walk in faith
Just get
from
rid
the
of that
ground of
BS,
my
eh?
being. Oh, yeah, I've got plenty of it in spades. And it's okay, because we're walking the way, Michael. And we're all walking the way together, and we all have our each individual path, and it's all sweet when I remember that. Because we just hold hand in hand with each other, and those of us that don't want to hold hands, we honor that and let them go their own way. I'm just doing my best to practice being love and healing myself at the same time. And I can't heal it all by myself, of course, but I do have my part to play. And so I'm just grateful for all of us. I'm grateful for everything.
Me too.
I'm really beginning to get a feeling of what it means when it says, all is well, and all is perfectly well, because it's all in divine order. I'm the only one out of divine order as a little person, and so I entertain the possibility that if I'm out of divine order, others are out of divine order, and it's none of my business. My business is being love and walking the way and sharing my light. But anyway, this is my good moment. So, yeah, this is my good moment, Michael. See me when I think I have my back to the wall. I don't even recognize it.
Get a little stress moving, eh?
Right. And the realization that it's all my inflammatory parts of me that are flooding my system, and who is the one in charge of my immune system and my inflammatory response? Oh, I have some practice to do, Michael.
Yeah.
It's when and I like what Dr. Tim says, and you've probably said it too, about it's the tension. In fact, you have said it too. Are we just cruising along, or are we in tension? If we're in tension, other than the physical activity that we're doing, but if it's thought-induced tension, we got some stuff to deal with. And you can always compost that S stuff, you know?
That BS, you mean?
That's what happens. Yeah. Well, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's bull or goat or sheep or people.
Right.
It is compostable. I mean, nature's been doing it for a long time. But so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. That cool. In my better moments, and I think a big chunk of insight. So now I get to do the practice work that came out in Dr. Tim's show. I'd heard it 10,000 times at least, but I can't get anybody else to understand me, and I can't really understand anybody else because we live in different worlds. So how about just relaxing and doing the best we can, and with your, you know, like with your communication interaction of interdependent, co-creative communication, we'll get there. It's about, I'm dealing with my primary issues of safety, trust, and allowance. Yay.
Joining you in that.
And I rambled on enough, dear sir. Continue on.
All right. Well, you have a blessed one.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
You too.
Yeah.
We always are in blessing. So if we just would recognize it.
Yeah, well, I certainly recognize the deep softening that you've done over the years we've been connected in, so appreciate that about you.
Good. I'll be doing that, my last code evaluation too.
Cool.
I just want to get those donations off to you and Jeannie. If I can get my foot down to the mailbox, that would help.
Okay.
Okay, you take care. Both of you have fun. Don't forget to be in joy, peace, and harmony. They all go together.
In the plan.
Okay.
You're unmuted.
Hugs for you, Jeannie.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi.
Harry, how are you,
Hi.
young lady?
I'm wonderful, and I just
You
wanted
are.
I am. Thank you. And I wanted to go back to that conversation about the body just really quickly.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just read a couple of sentences from one of Edgar Casey's readings.
Mm-hmm.
As the realization of a perfect cooperation in him comes to us, there will come also the knowledge of our oneness with the creative force of the universe. Self-interest will be eliminated. Joy and happiness found in service will reign in our hearts. Our bodies and our minds will function more perfectly because the creative force, whichever seeks expression in all, has been aroused in us. Understanding will come as quietly as the silent shadows of night, and his everlasting peace will live in our hearts.
I'll join you in that one.
Yes, and I have experienced that understanding coming quietly in the silent shadows of the night. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is one that when you let your physiology sink into it, passes all understanding, isn't it?
It does.
So holding space and joining each and every one of you, whatever's going on in your world, in that space. Breathing with you. Gently opening and bringing in the intelligence that comes with the breath. Anyone else have a thought for us? I had an awesome StillPoint session this morning, and I could just as easily just stay in this sweet silence as say anything else. However, seeing as how this is an auditory medium, we'll go ahead and talk. Anyone else have anything to share? Anything to report?
Terry Bowling's coming
Welcome,
in.
Terry Bowling.
Maybe he'll have something to say.
How are you, young man? What have you got to share? What are you here to add to the story today, Terry? We've been waiting for you. Yes, you, Terry Bowling. Welcome.
Oh, I just logged in. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
What kind
We
of
saw
story?
you. We've been
What
waiting.
kind of story? What story you got going? You got the Wildcat story going?
None other than the one you're going to tell us. We were waiting for you to show up and share with us what's happening.
All right. Let me get my gizmo connected correctly. I think I'm in there.
You're loud and clear.
So my notes for today were about I like to hear you talk about what creates a feeling?
Was that a request?
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got a nice little description about the exercise that you do in relation to thoughts and feelings.
Okay.
Is that appropriate?
So, would you like to do that exercise? Yeah, that would be cool.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like
All
to.
right. So I'm going to ask everybody to just allow yourself to take a few deep breaths. That's a good suggestion, Jerry. And get centered.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to invite you to run through a series of feelings. Some might call them sensations, others might call them emotions. But I'm going to invite you to allow yourself to feel the emotion of anger. And notice as you allow yourself to go to anger, where your attention goes in your structure, where you're feeling that anger. And then allow yourself to take a couple of deep breaths and let yourself go to the experience of sadness. Breathing with you. And for a moment, allow yourself to go to the sensation of fear. As you breathe and soften into the fear, allow yourself to just slip into the experience of present love. Allow your breath to gently move through your structure. And notice where you're feeling that presence of love. And breathe into that and just allow that presence of love to spread through your whole physiology. A gentleman who was a paleontologist, Teilhard de Chardin, said that joy is the infallible sign of the presence of the Creator. Can you allow yourself to be aware of the presence of the Creator in you? And as you allow that awareness to come, just open your eyes and go back to this moment. And I'll just ask anyone and everyone to share what just happened for you. Terry, you want to start out?
Sure. So, with the anger, I noticed that the feeling sensation arose quickly in my gut, and I was relating to just being on the job, dealing with workers and that kind of stuff. Just nothing specific, just a general fleeting, job anger, and then it's there in my gut.
That'll be a good one to resolve.
Yeah, definitely. I've been it's been very prevalent the last forever. We're not ready to let it go. Okay.
So most people treat anger as an emotion, And my offering is that anger is not an emotion. It's actually an addictive drug created by physiology that's used to cover something. If you breathe down into the next level, can you uncover what it is that is beneath it?
Yeah, it's right under it was frustration.
And the goals that are not being fulfilled that generate frustration in you?
Behaviors, people not behaving the way I want them to, or that I think they should.
The way you've always behaved, the way others think you should, right?
Exactly. Even when I was wrong.
So if you take a breath and look below that, what's the anesthetic for? What's the pain that's being anesthetized?
Well, the first thing that comes up is life. And that's been the topic of many worksheet, just life. That life, and then it has the thoughts that life is difficult, life is hard.
How would you define life?
In this situation, I'm defining life as the picture I'm seeing unfolded in front of my eyes or in my structure. Yeah. Which is
So
not life.
If we redefine life, and the best definition I've found for life is that life is love flowing through a cell.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I think we got there. We got somewhere with that. The misdefinition of life. Life is not the picture that I have created in my mind. Life is energy flowing through a cell.
Love flowing through a cell.
Love flowing through a cell.
What do you suppose would happen if you focused your work on doing whatever it takes to enhance the flow of love through your own cellular structure?
I think it would be much more pleasant.
Well, you know what I'd vote for, right?
Yes, yes, I do. I do.
And there is that old saying that says it's sometimes difficult to remember that when you're up to your bipping alligators, that the objective was to drain the swamp.
Exactly. You know, what I really noticed exercise was the specific locations that these energies seem to be held in my structure. So with the sadness, it was immediately behind my eyes, you know, which is associated with tears and holding back, and I could feel that tear, you know, the tear energy welling up in my eyes from the sadness. And then with the what was the next one? Sadness, anger, sadness.
Excuse me, hold on for just a second.
Sure.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm back. I just heard some strange noises from the other room, and it was Lincoln just acting out a little bit. I got a little concerned, but all is well.
Yeah. I had to check on Miss Jeannie, make sure she
Yes.
was okay with her cast.
Exactly.
And all.
Exactly. Yep. So the sadness behind your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Then what was the third one?
Anger, sadness, fear.
Yeah, fear. Fear was in the rear of my brain.
What do you
That's where I
suppose would
was
happen?
feeling the intensity there.
Yeah. What do you suppose would happen if you shifted your definition and therefore your awareness of life as a focus on the love flowing through your cellular structure, took responsibility for whatever inhibits that flow, and forgave us to the sadness, the anger, the fear?
Healing would happen.
Yeah. And of course, we've had some experts, each and every one of us, modeling a different understanding of life, haven't we?
Definitely.
So what if we just didn't buy any of those other definitions? Love flowing through a cell, and everything I do to enhance that happening. What would the first thing I'd have to do that? What would it be, do you suppose? I know for me what it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to cancel my let go of my need to be right around my definitions of what we're talking about.
That would probably be a good starting place.
Yeah.
The other one I would offer, what I just tapped into, was just allowing myself to take a full breath and feel the movement of that breath in my physiology.
Ah, yes. And that's what I did when I went to connect with love. Just took the full breath to release all this stuff and open up my physiology. And then that's presence I felt began to start in my diaphragm area and then radiated out through the body.
So is there anything that inhibits you from living there, choosing to live there?
My stubbornness. That's my
Gary,
first
I've never
guess.
seen you be stubborn.
Stubbornness, denial, rationalization,
Blame. Any come into it at all?
blame, yeah, and the drug hostility to keep it all under inaction. Yeah.
So, what you going to do?
I'm going to do all the above.
No, cool. You certainly have my
Exactly.
support.
And yeah, and in the exact order that they're presented, and then follow it on through, just like we did with the exercise. Follow it through to love.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, certainly joining you in that.
Yeah, and now I can see that I'm a genius for asking that question today.
You are a genius. And Terry, can we continue the exercise? And now that Michael helped you redefine and bring in the truth that life is love flowing through a cell, can you go back to those tension points of sadness behind the eye and then the fear at the base of the neck, at the back of the brain, and bring the breath there and let love release it?
Yeah, that's excellent. Yes.
Let's do that, because as I'm doing this, right, and for all of us doing that, there's a lot of tears. I'm being with what's coming up as well for me, but just as we all just breathe in, knowing that's Ruka, and wherever we felt those emotions, the sadness, the fear, and you can pick one, maybe as the focus, or if people can feel them all, and just bringing Ruka there. And let her unravel what is not love sitting in your physiology. And letting her breathe out. Again, letting her breathe you at her pace. We just get to receive the love of the divine. It is our birthright. It is who we are.
And all you have to do to receive it is breathe, right?
Yeah, only to be.
So what came up for me almost immediately was I'm going to do a love exchange with myself. That's one of the tools that we use a lot at Heartland when we were practicing in the intensives and in the environment out there, is doing love exchanges with each other. And then you take it to the next level and do a love exchange with yourself.
It's beautiful.
I'm going to allow myself to just soften my throat and take a deep breath. And as I take a deep breath, I'm going to focus on allowing that presence of love to flow through my structure. And I'm going to look down the list at everybody that's here. And I'm going to imagine, and every one of you I have a visual image of. I've seen you. I'm going to just imagine that. And I'm going to invite everybody to do that. And as I mention each name, I'm going to invite each of us to focus love toward that person, just really extending that presence of love that we are to each person as I mention their name. So I'm going to start out and I'm going to just gently soften and breathe and imagine looking eye to eye with Jeannie and extending love to her as she returns the energy. And then extending that presence and that flow of love from me through me to Susan. Fluid, holding you in that space, inviting everyone to hold Susan F. in your heart. Now, the next person on my list, Terry, is you. So I'm just going to imagine we're eyeball to eyeball. And out of my whole physiology, I extend this presence that comes into me through my breath. And I get to direct to surrounding you, extending to you, and holding you in. And Cami, I think this is a great picture that you have on your Zoom image here. And I just invite everybody to focus our energies into your space, holding you in this presence, holding you in our hearts, extending this presence of love to you. And just the thought comes to mind to remind us that this is the definition of what the Aramaic kingdom of heaven is: a community of love, a community of people who consciously, purposely are there to support and hold that space for each other. Kathy, I open my being. Extend that presence of love toward you. Allowing my breath to just carry that energy in your direction wherever you are on the face of the earth at this point, doesn't matter. Because on the level where we exist, truly exist as love, space and time has no influence. So extending the presence of my being, the presence of love toward you, Kathy. And breathing Celinda with you. And it just, it's so awesome to hear your voice and the lightness in it and the ease with which you've opened yourself to that presence of love. And joining you in that and extending my presence, my being in the direction of your physiology. And inviting each person to imagine Dawn as he's driving down the road from Asheville to Atlanta, that his journey is safe and that he too is surrounded and touched by the extension of the presence of love that each of us is toward Dawn. Carrie, extending that presence in your direction. And I see that your microphone is open if you have a thought to share, but just extending and holding both you and Jim in that space of love, in that space of being, extending my breath and everything that it brings to me in your direction, in support. And that your microphone is unmuted. Do you have a thought to share with us?
No, I don't. It was on mute. Thank you so much.
Okay, ready. Sweet. Well, just holding you in our hearts. And Susan Bingham. Dear heart, and besides just extending love in your direction, I certainly hold deep appreciation for the way that you're inspiring Jeannie on a new level with her book, and the feedback you're giving her that she's just really accepting and loving, appreciating you deeply, deeply, extending that presence of love to both you and to Tim. And Terry, thank you for stepping in and opening a space and mentioning the love exchange exercise from Heartland.
My pleasure.
Yeah, holding you in my heart deeply. Appreciate you've been out for a long time. Have come to mind, some of the times when down in Sarasota at Unity there, and you'd walk in, and I can just remember, I can sense the experience and the feeling of connecting with you way back then, 30 years ago. So extending that energy in your direction, appreciating you, and then bouncing that energy off of you to Kiva, so she receives that support as well. And Sally, looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, holding you and your mom in that space of safety and love and support. And I just hold the space that we can each join with each other in extending this presence to all the world. That the world individually and collectively, everyone in the world awakens to the fact of no matter what they've been through, no matter what's happening in their lives, in their minds, in their relationships, in their finances, their homes, or their lack of homes, that there's the realization that each and every one of us is the presence of love. I can remember being a kid and seeing pictures of the saints with tremendous attack and suffering and pain being inflicted on them, and that beatific look in their faces. And I always wondered how that was possible. And I now understand that if we realize who we are as created love, it's totally and completely independent of circumstance. So joining you in holding that space. And if there's anyone in your life for you right now that's a particular challenge, seeing as how we have this pool of energy, I invite you to just draw from this pool, add it to your energy, and extend it out to those in your world. Let's extend it out to provide a blessing to our political leaders, whoever they are, whatever level they're on, whatever they're doing. That a blessing can only upgrade everything that they do. And then if there's an inclination to do something other than bless, might be a good time to go back and listen to Dr. Tim's interview with a gentleman that wrote the book, The Gentle Art of Blessing. Choosing to be a blessing to all the world and joining you in that. Thanks for joining us.